Facebook to watch our thing, and I have a memory of a pizza I made myself. Yum.
Yum,
Darn. Yeah,
pizza.
it's unfortunate.
All right, let me go ahead and find you over here. Okay, and then yes, as Philip Fullerton is known as Philip Fullerton, as there's no video. Wink, wink.
There's no video. You're
There's
right.
nothing. There's just your
A
name.
secret. It's a secret.
His
No one really
concealing
knows
his
what I look like.
identity.
I'm in some sort of I don't even know what. There.
Yep.
There I am.
There you are. How are you, Phil? ¿Cómo estás?
I'm doing great. Hold on, let me do this. Oh no. Mute that, please. There we go. I don't want to hear us after we speak.
Yeah, they'll be appreciated.
You don't want to hear it either.
No, I'm saying they'll be appreciated. I don't.
You
That's just
don't
honesty right there.
you don't love hearing your own voice about 10 seconds after you speak,
Oh
like
my
while you're trying to speak. It's bad enough when you're in the middle of an online lesson and something with the audio is doing that and it's sending your audio back to you.
God.
It's
Mm-hmm.
awful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And also too, it's like for singing contact.
For singing contact, yes. We're learning lots of things about singing today. Your contacts are very helpful, and if you can't
Yes.
see, how are you supposed to sing?
Yes. For singing, I mean, we always encourage students to record themselves so they can hear their voice, both the good and the interesting. And I understand we do not like to hear our own voices. It is
I like my voice. I'm just kidding.
sure you
I'm
do.
gonna be one of those people. I actually don't mind it. It doesn't bother me at all.
That's good. That's good. That's always good to have that confidence. But from the start, though, was it just a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, we don't even like listening to our singing voices. One of the big issues I had, so since I was in a band, people would take videos with their phones. And taking a video of a band with a phone is the most hilarious thing because I don't care how good you are, you will sound terrible. Because phones just don't know how to record. You're like, but I've got like an iPhone 27 and a half. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. It doesn't matter that you have a camera that has 5 zillion megapixels and takes great videos. The audio is terrible all the time. So before we even start what we're gonna, this gets to like something really funny. Is if
Yes.
people are recording themselves and you're recording yourself with your phone, I would suggest getting a microphone for your phone. You're like, I didn't know those exist. Yes, they do.
They do. And
Rode
actually,
makes
I will
one, and
show
lots
you
of other
one
people
that I
make
love.
companies do.
I'm going to
They're
show you
wonderful.
one that I love. I love it. 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 Where's my
I say this, but I don't have one because
Really?
I never record myself singing with my phone.
Oh, no, not you, love. I'm just yelling at Philip, as per usual.
Everybody's yelling at me. It's okay. While I drink my lunch.
Oh, everything is
Lunch.
working. Thank you. We're actually live.
For now.
Please subscribe, husband, and all the likes. Thank you. Marketing, which
Please,
ironically
please
is starting to
figure
happen
out some
today.
sort of software algorithm that will watch it over and over again.
Hey, you know what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please do.
Why not?
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
mind. Doesn't matter.
So this is the DJI mic. They did come with a newer version of this.
Cool.
I love this so much. I attach it to my phone. I attach it to my computer. Like this is my go-to external mic when
Mm.
I'm traveling or like teaching at coffee shops. And what I love about these DJI mics is, well, first you
So
have
tiny.
this, which you're going to connect to your device.
Right. Oh, it's a wireless one.
It's a
That's okay. That's
wireless
even
one,
better.
yeah.
Okay. Great.
And it has like different connectors, so you can put it
Mhm.
into like a mic, a USB-C port, or a micro one, or the iPhone one, and then you have your actual mics. And I love
Yeah.
this because it comes with this, so you can put it on top of like anything, or
Mhm.
I wouldn't do it here, but like right here, or there's also a clip too, and
It
I
has a
just
magnet
love
on
it.
it, you said?
Hmm.
You said it connects with a magnet, or did
Yeah,
I
it connects to
mishear
the
you there?
magnet.
I thought, oh, that's even better. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know. So I have some Rode mics. I said I don't have any. I have some wireless Rode mics that I can do the same. It's mostly for a computer, but it can connect to a phone, I think. And it's like one side connects to the phone or computer, but it doesn't connect. It's like it's got a little cable that has to connect, unfortunately.
Mm.
And then the other side can clip onto you. And there's actually two mics if you want, if you had two people, and it'll do wireless. And it's got phenomenal quality sound. And and some of them, like that one might do it too. The Rode mic has another extra input if you want to put like a headset mic on and just like put it in your pocket. It'll let you do
This
that too.
does, I believe. Yeah, no, it does. It does. It does.
Most of them do because like
Hmm.
Rode makes a really good headset mic. It's just a little thin thing that comes out. I mean, if you're not teaching music, it's wonderful. I think the mic that
Oh, are
it's
you talking about
either
that
way
mini
though
Rode
does
mic
pretty
that's like
well.
this size?
Yeah, well, it's like a thing that goes around the head. Oh yeah, well, there's a little square. It's a square
Yeah.
something go. I can't remember. I will have to show it next time
Okay.
we have a we do this. I will remember to find it and show it so we can do that.
Yeah, but I
But
love.
just as a tip for people, when you are doing that so that your voice sounds like you're still not going to like it, but at least doesn't sound like your voice on a phone microphone. Phone microphones are the one thing. You notice how when you get your new iPhone or your new Pixel, which I got by the way, a couple of Pixel.
Congratulations.
It's wonderful. It takes amazing photos compared to the OnePlus. Sorry, OnePlus audience, I've dumped OnePlus because they take terrible photos.
It's
Unfortunately.
they.
Absolutely terrible. I mean, it's like they're 10 years in the past. So, you'll notice how none of these phones they advertise how good the microphone is because it's not. Unfortunately, they advertise how great the speakers are, how great the camera is, all that, and
Not the
just
photos.
unfortunate stuff. One day maybe, but they really have no reason to because musicians are willing to go buy another microphone, and no matter how good they make it, it's only this tiny little spot where they can fit a microphone, so
Mm-hmm.
they really can't improve it that much
Mm.
outside of software editing, and that's not how we want to fix our voices through software.
No, use proper technique, and also
We
have
can
good
do that
mics.
already.
Have good mics too. But
I can use my yeah.
who's
All right,
this?
so for today, I'm wasting time. 45 minutes left. We can do this. Do we
Yes.
know our audience? Sorry.
Hi
I just
guys.
brought it in.
My name is Rosita Ruiz. I am a vocal language coach and a learning specialist. And who are you?
I am Philip Fullerton. No, luckily no R's because I don't roll my tongue that way. So
Well,
I can
you
sort of
do
do
have
it.
R in your last name. You have you do have a R in your last name.
Shh.
Fullerton.
Fullerton. Fullerton. Fullerton. It sounds like a Scottish person yelling. Fullerton, what are you doing? So, yes, I'm Philip Fullerton. I am a voice coach and piano teacher. And I used to be a techie person.
You are still a techie person.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that just now techie stuff. I was more the hardware side, and the hardware side, I'm sorry, it's so easy now. I mean, it's not. I mean, the hardest thing is some of the new hard drives, which really aren't that hard to understand. At first, people had a hard time, and most of the stuff is so plug and play and so easy to do now.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love that
I
though.
love I love hard drives. If you don't have a hard drive, you need a hard drive. I mean, you need backup plans in general.
Hey, you know how big the hard drive is inside my actual desktop that I got 2 years ago? The hard drive that is it's only a half, it's only 500 gig hard drive inside it,
Mm-mm.
but the hard drive is this long, this wide, and this narrow, because that's how
Yee.
hard drives are.
Yeah, there's one
So
that I
NVMe hard
was.
drives are wonderful.
There's one that I
But
always
external hard
hear.
drives are great because they're cheap. You can
They're
get
cheaper
terabytes of,
now. Back then,
yeah.
they were
Well, when we say
expensive.
back then, I was in my 20s in the 90s. So in the 90s, if you want to talk about back then, they were really expensive. Everything was so expensive back in the 90s. Crazy expensive.
I would say
It's all
like my
relative.
20s
Mhm.
in the 2000s.
Yeah, so if we
Well,
compare, at
2000.
least they existed. That was the thing.
2007 then.
It's all a progress because I mean I worked for Geek Squad, so I did a lot with external devices and things, like the first wireless printers that came out for home use. I remember me and a colleague of mine, we got them into the store, so we unboxed one, and it took us over 1 hour working together, both pretty smart people, getting it to actually connect wirelessly to anything. Now you get a new printer, if you even have one. We do have one. You unbox it, you get on your computer, and it says, "Hey, you bought a printer, didn't you? You want to print from it?" Yes. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually do need to buy a printer. Printers are still
Yeah.
necessary, especially if you are a tutor or you work at, at a classroom
I
because
would
you have to give
suggest,
your
I have
students.
suggestion for printers too. After you're done, I got a good one
Oh,
or a
yes,
good
please.
idea. So, you all hate buying ink cartridges. Then don't. Buy one with an ink tank in it.
That's what my husband says. That's what John
Yeah.
says.
Yeah. Don't buy ink cartridges. Ink cartridges are so antiquated. No one should be buying ink cartridges ever. They're antiquated. They kill your printer much faster. The ink tanks are much more efficient. I have an Epson with an ink tank. I in 3 years have bought one extra blank ink thing, and we print a lot. I haven't even refilled the color once, and it dried up once, and all I had to do was do a printer cleaning. It took about half an hour, and it does it itself. I didn't have to do anything. I used to have to open the thing up and clean them by hand when this
Yeah.
happened. It does it for you. It just kind of forces the ink out and makes it work again. It's amazing. And this is a 3-year-old product, bless you. The newer ones are going to be even better, and those ink tanks are so much cheaper to refill. You know, you buy a bottle of ink that used to cost. So speaking of 20 years ago, that used to cost. I can't remember what the cost was. Somewhere between $800 and $1,000 a pound for ink. So per pound, you don't use a lot of ink. So, for example, in your whole life, I doubt you've used a pound of ink ever, and you probably never will.
Okay. 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 Okay.
An ounce of ink goes a very, 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 very long way. Ink is exponentially cheaper now than it ever used to be. Though there's no reason for it to be. It just was. It was more expensive than gold, almost. Well, not gold, than silver. It was more expensive than silver. At one point in the early 2000s, I remember it, looking at it, going like just regular black ink and color ink especially. Color ink was more expensive than silver. I remember that. It was
Yeah, I remember
some
having ink cartridges
really just.
growing up, and they were super expensive. But and I would also use it like almost like every 4 months or so. I have to constantly replace it.
Yeah.
So
And then you buy the generic ones, and it kills your printer, and then you have to buy a new printer, which I did. So, yeah.
all right. So what are we
Epson has them.
talking
HP
about
has them
today?
too. I like Epson because they stay connected. HP always has problems.
Epson is one of the best. They
Yeah.
have really good products.
HP is a great product for about 2 years, and then it goes, "Hey, you haven't bought a new printer yet." Dies. Okay,
Yes.
so what are we going to talk about today,
Yes.
Rosita?
Well, I don't know. I asked that first.
Ah, see, I have a selective memory. Um,
What are we talking about today, sir?
I think we were going to talk about something to do with marketing and understanding who your peoples are and how to get them to you.
Did you just say people's?
Peoples, yes, peoples. Peoples is a real word. It is a real word. I didn't fake a word today. I will later. I'm sure. I'm good at it. I'm amazing at faking real words. I can find the sus words everywhere. I didn't realize that Gen Alphas were actually saying sus still until I was watching The Circle the other day. And I'm like, no, I was like, oh, the AI gave himself away by using sus, and then all the others started saying sus. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, I forgot. They're all sheep. They just follow what the one of them says that they like. Ah, unfortunately, I still like the show.
Sheesh. Sheesh. Sheesh.
Sus. I like the word sus. It's great. So I'll find a sus word later, a better
Okay,
sus word.
okay. But
But
first of all,
finding
purple
out
is
who your
already
people are,
cool.
what's your brand, what are you, how are you going to get business? I
How to attract
guess.
new clients.
Yeah, how to attract the clients?
Yes.
And there are lots of ways.
There are a lot of ways there. Yes. Okay. So one of the first thing when it comes to marketing is actually, in fact, knowing your audience. Who do you want to teach to?
Hmm.
What age group do you want to teach? What skill do you want? So say that you are trying to open up like a coaching business on marketing, but that's so general. Do you want specifically people who want to market, a pet service? Do you want to market do you want to help people to mark a tutoring business, right? You have to have a
Hmm.
particular niche. And it kind of goes what we were talking about in our last episode when it comes to like constructing your business. And so understanding your demographics, your needs, the preferences of your ideal clients is definitely going to be the key of one, your sanity, happiness, and less stress.
Yeah, and there's something I say on the know your audience is, I think we talked about this a little bit. Is and because I know Rosita, you like at least still do teach a lot of different subjects, and I know you're like narrowing it a little bit more to keep your sanity. Some people can do that. I know a guy who teaches every instrument. And when I say every instrument, if he hasn't learned one, just show it to him, and he will learn it. It's one of those, and then he will say, "I'll start teaching this. That's awesome." But know how much you are capable of teaching. I like to keep my niche a little narrower. I started teaching viola years ago, and then I realized, I said, you know what? My specialty really is piano and voice. And yes, I got to kind of advanced level as a viola player when I was a teenager, but that doesn't mean I really should be teaching it. I was teaching just the beginners, like beginners. And I thought, you know what, that's almost more stressful for me. Even though I enjoy the instrument and I liked teaching it, I am not an expert at teaching it. So I realized maybe I should back off from it. Now, let's say I was an expert. I still wanted to pick something to kind of keep myself sane and
Mm-hmm.
make sure I know what I want to teach.
Yeah. I mean, you may be, you know, a master in so many skills, like in that industry, or in that instrument, and it's just,
Hmm.
again, you have to know what you want, what you're looking for, because trust me, there are people that's looking for you. What needs that
Yeah.
you want to get across, there are people that will want them.
Exactly. Now I will say if you are, just a viola teacher, you might want to teach violin and cello too. A lot of viola teachers do. Speaking of, like, say you are a teacher, you're a language teacher, that's fine. But what if you already speak fluently, like Rosita does, more than just two languages? And you say, but I really just want to teach this one. So it can go the other way, where you can say, well, do you think you could teach the other language you're fluent in? I mean, if you don't think you can, that's fine. But if you really believe that you can, maybe try it. At first, when I was starting to teach, I started with just piano and I moved into voice and viola as well. I was encouraged by someone to teach voice. says, "Well, you are an expert at this. You should teach. Your experience level is very high. You may not have the degree in vocal performance, but you have the choir degree. You should at least try, see if you like it." So it can go both ways. Maybe you aren't reaching out to enough. So just feel out what you're capable of doing.
Yeah. And be honest with yourself on that.
Mhm. Yeah.
And also, and like you said, Phil, can you teach it? If you
Yeah,
doubt
and
that you
even if
can
you
do
don't
it,
think you can, see, like, make sure, because if you're a language teacher and you already speak Spanish and you already, and then you, let's say you speak French as well. It's like, if you speak one and teach on that one language, you probably can move some of your teaching techniques to the other language.
yeah, well, that's modifying teaching techniques,
Yeah,
modifications.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little different with music, like going from viola to piano. So I can teach a lot of it because I was good at the viola, but it's still a little different because of there's certain little things with teaching a string instrument
Mm-hmm.
that are different. They're very different, like
Oh,
bowing technique and tuning. Teaching
tuning is
someone to tune online, that was one of my main reasons. I'm gonna be honest, from not teaching strings anymore, is teaching all online. I'm like, oh gosh, I am not teaching somebody how to tune anything online. I've tried it in person. It was already hard enough.
uh-huh.
Now doing it online, getting someone to understand how the peg moves, I'm like, I no, it's
No.
not happening.
Oh boy.
I tell everyone you need an in-person teacher for strings for the first at least 6 months, just because
Yeah, I think that's
you
one of
have
the
to know how
reasons
to
why I don't play
tune it.
a string instrument is the constant tuning. And that's
Now,
just
if it's
me
a
being
guitar,
lazy.
it's
That's not
different.
just it's
Yeah,
like it's
because
not hard,
guitars,
but
like, yeah, and you have to learn how to change a string. So even a guitar where the pegs move smoothly and you can easily learn how to tune, as soon as one of your strings breaks, what do? You don't take it into a store and have them do it for you. You buy strings and you learn how to do it. And an in-person teacher can teach you that a little easier. Now, YouTube videos can also teach you that. You can watch a lot of YouTube videos. Violin and violoncello, much harder because it's a wooden peg in a wooden hole, and every violin is different.
mm-mm-mm.
So, yeah, a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So, again, knowing your audience and knowing yourself.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And also okay. Tailoring, sorry, I'm looking up my notes. Um tailoring your marketing message. What in the world does that mean?
I have no idea. I'm kidding. That's funny. No idea. What
You
does
got
that
me. You
mean?
got me there. I'm
Is
like,
it
wait,
is it Taylor Swift? Just kidding.
you're a dork.
Craft. It's a spell. Crafting. You have to do. Yes, cast spells, and you will get people.
Your
So
nerd is showing. And I love it.
uh,
Uh,
I shouldn't show all the candles that I have in my room. It will freak people out.
which reminds me, I need to
So
buy more candles. So thank you for reminding me.
yeah,
I need to buy more incense too. Okay. So once you guys have identified your audience, the next step is to build your brand and developing a strong brand identity that reflects your values and expertise is crucial for standing out in a competitive market. So, for an example, um, I have students, right, who go to a, a private Christian school, right? So that
mhm,
school, because all schools are also a form of business, a place of education, but
yep,
there's business involved here. Is catering for rich Christians. I'm not going
yeah,
to sugarcoat that.
yeah. You don't have to beat around the bush on that one. That's
Yeah,
exactly
no.
right. Same
But
same
there
thing
is
with
a
Jewish
market
schools, rich
for
Jewish
that,
people.
right?
Yeah.
And and I will say that their teachers are amazing though. I have to applaud them. Like their education is really like bravo.
Yeah.
In comparison to other private schools that I have witnessed. So they know who they're catering to. That's the brand that they want to be. So
Hmm.
when it comes to, again, if you're planning to tutors, to let's say you want to become a Spanish tutor, do you want to be the brand of, okay, you want to focus on medical Spanish or legal Spanish or just travel Spanish? How do you want to be? What are your values on that? So, for an example, for
Hmm.
mine, anyone can learn a language just by the age. We just have to
Hmm.
cater to your current learning style. I'm more of a motivational approach, and I'm also very inclusive.
Hmm.
Um, and how about yours, Phil? Like, what is your brand identity that reflects
Well, that's
you?
interesting. Like what you just said, I would have never even thought. I never even thought with people teaching languages there being so many different options for teaching. I knew that in the back of my head. 'Cause, I mean, we have a friend who does medical Spanish translation for people, for doctors, and never even thought about that as being a teaching style. With music, it's the same way. You want to make sure that you know what genre you are able to teach. With music, though, I will say if someone is a beginner, I don't care what style they want to learn. The technique is always the same. There are some styles of music, though, that are very different. So, like at one time, I had a student who was learning classical from me because she wanted like traditional European classical, because she also took Persian singing from another teacher, and she found that she was losing her voice. Part of the reason for that is a lot of the kind of Arab style singing in that way is a little harder on the voice. And they even tell their students, like, you need some like classical training so that your voice can handle what we're doing. Because we're teaching you how to sing in like the more, like, say, like how they would sing, like, I don't even know what the Muslim to singing is sing. called. Like, oh, I can't remember what it's called. There's a word for it where it's just like they're singing super loud. It's like everything's projected so hard that they
Pushing?
that what?
Pushing? Like a
Well, it's
not healthy
pushing, but
way?
that's what it is. I feel like the singing style is pushing. And what we learned was a lot of the really good singers that do that style of singing, it's like a call to worship type of singing that's in Muslim worship. And so it helps to learn a classical style because then you protect your voice throughout your singing career. So she was taking from me to help protect her voice, from the style that she was learning. She just wanted to learn it, and it's not just for Muslim singing. It's just I just know they do it in the mosques, and then some styles of just like some styles of singing really push the voice. So for me, I will teach any style, anyone who has any style of singing, but I am a classically trained singer, but I did sing professionally pop and rock music. So I do teach that now because of that. Since I did it, I have a lot more experience on it too. Piano, mostly classical, and I tell people, hey, if you want to learn jazz, I can teach you some written jazz and basic stuff that's already written out for you. There's plenty of books that do that. But if you want to go on to learn real jazz, you need a jazz teacher. You
Yeah.
can't just pick anybody. So know what your again goes back to knowing what you can do so that you can find your audience. Is your audience a classical singer, a classical pianist? Is it a pop pianist? Are you wanting to, instead of using methods, do you want to teach chords? Do you want to teach playing and singing? Make sure you know that so that you put that into your marketing and advertising.
Yeah, that makes my, and especially with singing or even piano or guitar and any form of instrument, the fundamentals of the technique is going to remain the same. And regardless of the
Mhm.
instrument, or, well, no, let me rephrase that. Regardless of the genre that you want to play, using that instrument, there's just going to be different modifications that are going
Yeah.
to be implemented. So, like with the different styles of singing, because I used to teach Japanese folk singing a
Hmm.
long time ago, and it is throat based, but still the fundamentals are the
Hmm.
same, right?
Hmm.
While still maintaining that, that nasally, throaty sound without losing your voice.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, anywhere, like if you hear like different styles, even classical singers. So for those that don't know, that genres of singing have different timbres, and different styles of classical have different timbres. Timbre means quality of sound, also. So like say like English style classical singing versus Italian has a very different sound. English, think cringe for me, Sarah Brightman. I'm sorry for everyone who loves Sarah Brightman. I think she's a wonderful singer who just learned in a certain way that I don't prefer not to like that sound. I'm going to say it that way. So, and she has great technique. She can still sing. So she obviously is doing something right. And
It's just you don't agree with the practice that she went through.
I just don't like of the throaty sound. Oh, that back of the throat sound,
Yeah,
that
I know that.
pressure on the larynx sound is what I like to call it. But it's she's not necessarily putting real pressure on the larynx, but it's more the tongue. It's like a forced tongue technique. It's very hard for me to listen to. I like the traditional Italian sound as a someone who did lots of opera. I
And
like that
you
sound.
are bringing so many like great examples of marketing messages.
Mm.
I
It's
mean, you
hey, with
are
singing,
you're
it's
talking
amazing.
about like you're talking you're communicating like the unique benefits of the different modifications that are applied, and this is going to help
Yeah.
those narrow down their niche
Mm.
when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, it
So
really
I'm like
does.
I'm paying
Oh,
attention. It's
like
like these are all great examples of
it
marketing
is.
messages.
We don't think about like when you said about the language. I was like, wait a minute. In vocal technique, we have all the same basic technique, but the one part. Oh, that's funny that it did the blue. So the one part is right here. This is the part where the technique changes depending on some styles of music. Larynx placement even changes
Yeah.
between opera and if anyone wonders why do opera singers have to work so hard and work so long, it's because larynx placement is different for an opera singer because they need more resonance than it is for a pop singer. You don't want a pop singer to sound like that. Even if they can straight tone it, it still is not going to sound good. So we have to learn those different techniques as singers. Like, what are you an expert in? Are you an expert in contemporary singing and contemporary pop singing? Maybe don't teach
Teach opera.
an opera singer,
Yeah.
or vice versa, even. Um, Although I will say this: if you're an opera teacher and you're teaching a pop singer, that is actually okay. It goes one way, but not necessarily, unfortunately, the other. That person can learn to sing pop music. I did without like just by trial and error myself, just saying, okay, the technique's the same. I just need to change my placement. And I did. Changed my placement and boom, I had pop singing. Not everybody can just do that though, I will admit.
No. It's I mean it's a journey to get there, for sure. It's definitely a journey.
Sorry. You said journey.
I know. I was like, I don't have YouTube on. Why? I was so confused.
I have
I
my
was
piano
so
on, so I just did that.
yes.
You said journey twice, so I couldn't not do that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Sorry, I said couldn't not. I apologize for that one.
You did it on purpose. It's okay.
I did. I like double negatives because they sometimes make more sense in the moment. for what I need to say.
We're still
Yeah.
friends. Don't worry.
It's okay.
But again, the internal
Luckily,
monologue that's happening right now, I'm like, I want to yell at you, but I'm like, no, no,
don't
no,
don't worry, buddy. I am
no,
not a language teacher, and I
no,
never will be.
no. He just does this to, get on
Yes.
my nerves.
Well, I personally like the double negative sometimes because it relays a slightly different purpose. Like so for example, okay, Scott
Annoyance?
Joplin. Does everybody know who Scott Joplin is?
I
Yes. Okay,
hope
good.
so.
I hope so. And if you don't, one of the earliest internationally famous musicians from the U.S. was Scott Joplin, a black musician from the U.S. He
He was the
would
king
write
of
things like,
ragtime.
yes, he invented ragtime. And one of the things he liked to write on his music were things like not fast. So certain times, even though that's not a double negative, saying not fast, but isn't that slow? No, it's not. It's just not fast.
It's not, hold on.
It
Hold on.
seems weird. And in Italian, you don't have to do that because they have like 5 zillion words for speed in Italian. In English, we don't. We have two, fast and slow. It's like,
So for those that you guys, if you recognize the song, this was written by Scott
oh, yeah.
Joplin. Hold on. I remember that in ballet class. And every time, because that's so like confused in me, I just want to do the second position and then the pirouette. Not the pirouette, the side pirouette for the warm
Mhm.
ups for the ballet. I'm like, ooh, not gonna do it underneath the desk, and I might break my leg.
I was not doing any of that, by the way, everyone. Even though I have non-extensive ballet training, none at all. I did learn to do a waltz once, but that's about it.
Tap.
Thank you.
Okay,
So,
so yeah. So once you've identified your audience, once you find your brand identity, you know who you're you you've tailored your marketing message to resonate with the clientele that you want to market to.
mm.
Now it's all about building a professional online presence, which
Ooh, how do we do
includes
that?
websites, social media profiles. I mean,
Mm.
we live in an age where it is easier to establish credibility, and it is much easier to attract clients. And even though Phil and I we've been online teachers since the 2000s. I know 2009. I forgot where you started.
Somewhere, I don't know.
2012.
Somewhere around. Well, well, I've been teaching the
Online.
online thing off and on for a while, but then it was probably like 2015 or 16, I can't remember, when I really started to go get into it more.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Like fully online. I mean, it was 2018 where more than half of my students were online, and then 2020 I moved before COVID. No, 2018 or 19. I moved once, and I decided all of my students are going to be online. I did have one in-person student, and then COVID hit, and then that was next.
That's what made you like 100% online.
Yeah,
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
and
Yeah,
I was almost
it's
already there to begin with, so I was on the right track.
so. Um, who dares message me?
And at that time, lots of people were still refusing to teach online. They're like, I would only teach people that I can see face to face, which is fine.
Yeah, which is
You
not
can still
fine.
be that kind of teacher. You can still be that.
Yeah.
Just teach local. Some people only want their in-person teachers. They don't want to do things online. They do learn easier with a real person in the room with them. That's fine. I am actually one of those people most of the time
To have in-person
as a
lessons.
student.
Yeah.
As a student, yeah, I do better in person.
Also, I find that for instruments, I find it better for me to go in person, online,
Hmm.
and languages in person.
Hmm. Sorry, I'm eating a potato chip. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's you're good. You're
And a
good.
crunch.
So the reason why I brought up like our history when it comes to teaching online is the marketing or how to market ourselves evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, through Facebook ads, through what was it? Well, Google ads. Yeah, you could pay money to, market yourselves. Yes, there were ways to produce your own blogs and softwares through different software, through different platforms, and more. And now with TikTok and Instagram and Vimeo and these other forms of platforms, we can
Hmm.
reach a whole population. And it's not just limited here to the US.
Hmm.
You're marketing yourself to the world.
It's true. And some of this, though, does depend. Like, I've kind of backed off a lot on my social media for the most part for a while. I'm going to start doing more on my YouTube channel again soon. I feel like it wasn't getting me very much. But if you really love doing your social media, it will build eventually. You just have to understand, unfortunately, there's a lot more to understand than just making a great post. You have to understand the algorithms. You have to know when to post. You have to know what to post so that it doesn't make Meta mad and they shadow ban you. Because that happened to me. I was getting, okay, get this, my videos on my shorts on Instagram at one point were getting average 10 to 20,000 views each. Suddenly, I was getting nothing. That's what shadow banning is. You can't prove it. You can't prove they did it, but there's proof out there. Meta says they don't do it. Lots of people have proven that they do that. So if that's happened to you, that's what they did. You got shadow banned. What shadow banning means is you weren't paying them to make money for them to make money, so they don't want you to make money. It's an unfortunate side effect of it. Now, if you're already super famous, they want you in there because it brings other people into Meta. But if you're just someone like me, you're not bringing new people in. You're just bringing in
Small
people that are already
business.
there.
If you're a small business
Yeah,
owner.
you're not helping them. So they want you to pay to boost things. Now that's okay because that's advertising. So if you really want to do that, I would suggest pick one. Now, a lot of the things I've read recently is we all overlook one thing. Now I'm also going to try to start getting back into LinkedIn. Why? The Microsoft company, LinkedIn, is the one that's been stable all the time and has never died. It just kind of just sits there and just floats along. Where Facebook is like going, and Instagram went, die. And TikTok went way up, and TikTok's going to be the best thing ever. And nobody's going to ever stop watching TikTok. That's not true, by the way. Everyone will eventually stop watching TikTok, and there'll be something else. And you want to find something that's stable. It's okay to use all of these because I use TikTok. I mean, it's fine. And TikTok's a really easy one because you can just do short, quick phone videos to advertise whatever you need. But make sure you're doing the stable stuff like YouTube, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is normally business to business, but it's not anymore. It used to be. It's an all around like platform
Yeah,
that
it's
it.
honestly I find it like LinkedIn, and this is a generic way to explain it. It's like the business version of Facebook, but the posts are more professional and educational.
Mhm.
Uh it's not it's all
They're
about
not just trying to
post
wow you
yeah, they're
with
posting with
with junk.
knowledge.
Yeah,
Where
you don't have
Facebook
to.
is
Yeah. You don't have to dance while you're playing your instrument and speaking another language at other people with your cat on your shoulder
Yeah.
to get people's attention.
No. And I've been now really focusing on LinkedIn as well for networking purposes, which is essential for marketing as
Yeah.
well. And it is really, really hard to network, especially if you are an introvert.
Which is why social media is good for introverts.
It
Oh,
really,
and then
really
everybody's like,
is.
"But you're a singer, and you've both done like stage work, and you've both." That doesn't mean you're not an introvert. A lot of people that do like musical theater and opera are introverts
Yeah.
because there is a difference. And so the way I explain it is, when I did one thing that I did when I played Gaston once, it was community theater, but Gaston, and I was having a hard time with it because I didn't like have the outfit or anything. I could do the singing, I could do the voice acting part of it, but the physical part of it, they were just like, "You're just not acting like Gaston." Like, I just need I need the outfit because I need to actually sort of become Gaston. Because I don't have the attitude that that character has. I'm not full of myself, even though it may seem like it.
You're not a narcissist.
I'm not. But as soon as you put the muscle suit on me and the Gaston suit, I was. I was that character when I needed to be. Instantly. I mean, I was even doing like chest bumps with other stage people, and I was just like, wait a minute. Did I really? There's photographic evidence that I was doing these things that I would never do in real life. And you put this on me, and I was just like,
A whole
I
other
just
person.
became that person. And they were just like, wait a minute, what just happened? I told you, you put the costume on me. And I became that person. I was even like, yeah, it just made a huge difference. So a lot of us are that way. And something like LinkedIn is great for that because it does help you to get you out there. One of the great things about a lot of things being online, having an online business is you can be an introvert and you're an extroverted, you're extroverted online, but you're introverted in person. And you can get a lot more done that way.
Yeah, literally there's a combo of both, and you can be more of an introvert while being an extrovert when it calls for it. Like whenever I'm at work, I'm a total extrovert. No one knows that I'm an introvert unless if you put me into like social situations and that are not work environments. I'm like the wallflower. Like people.
There are people. My TV is my friend.
No, not even books are my friend.
Books are me.
Books
Yeah,
are
me
my
too. I like
friends.
books. Well, my sad thing is I will watch TV and read at the same time.
Is it because of the noise that helps you focus?
Okay, I don't know. Well, the thing is I can't study something though, but I can read something fun. So, but I can't actually study. Like if I wanted to study something while the TV's on, it's not going to happen. I
So.
have to have quiet for that. I've never been able to listen to music while I study either. It actually has a negative effect on me, which is not normal, by the way. Studies have shown. Studies have also shown that Beethoven couldn't clap on beat. So what do they know? The
Hey, you know
DNA.
what?
We have DNA
There are
proof.
always exceptions.
He wrote da 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 by doing that, but still wrote it perfectly.
Yeah. You know, the
Okay,
brain
so
executes while the body can't. It's okay.
well, what it was interesting. It was a new study. So you know how DNA and genetic studies they have a lot of Beethoven's hair. So we were able to do DNA studies on Beethoven. They know pretty much he probably died of heavy metal poisoning. Most, even though he died old anyway, but he had a lot of heavy metal poisoning. No, not died, but that's what would have caused his hearing loss
Oh,
potentially was heavy metal poisoning, which is common even today with a lot of people.
definitely.
Common enough. And so one of the things they did is they've done studies on who can clap on beat and who can't clap on beat, or who can actually clap on beat, that kind of thing. And the thing is they've only done studies on tens of thousands of people, which sounds like a lot. They
Yeah.
proved it was wrong by showing that Beethoven was in the lower 10th percentile of people for being able to clap on beat. So the scientists just laughed at that and said, okay, I guess we need millions. She even said, We literally, for every genetic study, you need millions of people to really get a good idea. So I don't know why that was important to that, but it is
It's a fun
like one of
fact.
those things. It's just a fun little fact.
Yeah.
So, real quick, we only have 5 minutes left. We can get through this.
Yes.
We're getting through everything. What are we doing?
We
This is
still
not
got like
normal.
5 things, but
We're, in
okay,
5 minutes, we can get through everything. Let's speed talk through everything.
All right. So when it comes to like when you're posting stuff on these social media platforms, and including your website, we want to optimize your SEO, your search.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, I was just saying yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's another important aspect. So what I mean by SEO is by using relevant keywords that people would search for, right?
Yeah.
And so they can
It
find your
means
content.
it means search engine optimization, by the way, people.
Yeah, thank you. I said the word and I just come up with search engine and I do. So you can improve by use so when you're optimizing your SEO, it's going to help with your website's visibility, right? And it's going to attract more organic traffic. Now, organic traffic is people that just find you. It's not sponsored. They just find like, oh, this is interesting. I just found you in the internet or in the
Yes.
interwebs.
Yes, the interwebs. Yay! Yay, Rosita. That was exciting. That made me happy.
I'm glad. All right. So organic traffic is going to be tough to build, but it's going to, but you will gain organic traffic as you become more credible. And also, I would just advertise the bleep out of your social medias to attract your website as well. So make sure when in your social media with the content creation, always have your website. Always, always, always.
Yeah.
Then
And one thing about SEOs is a lot of the hosting sites. Sorry, yeah, hosting sites that you use. Some of them do like automatically now. So almost, unfortunately, then every site has it. So another thing to do is like insert some little buzzwords into your website. Don't make it super obvious. Don't just like at the end of your website just list a bunch of junk words to get people to come there. You don't want just everybody, but make sure you put important words that are search terms into some of your content.
And if you need help, hey, I'm going to be the one to admit I do use ChatGPT on occasion to help me create some like to create hashtags or to create SEO or keywords for SEO to attract people to your content on social media. And what I
Right.
mean, that goes to the next thing about content creation, content marketing. Content marketing, are things such as articles, podcasts like this, infographics, articles, blog posts, more to showcase your expertise. You want to
That's true.
showcase
That's true.
what you are capable of. Also, start building a relationship with your viewers, a professional, educational relationship with your people. And they're like, oh, I'm going to hire this person. She's really good. I've been following her for years. And then one day they're like, oh, I'm going to see if I can book a session with her.
And if you think that, oh, I'll never get a student or a client from YouTube, I did. I only got one, but I
Same.
got one. One is more than zero. And YouTube didn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
And I don't even I have less than 700 followers on YouTube. And I know Rosita has a couple thousand. That's still not a ton,
It's not a
but
ton.
it's,
Subscribe for
lets
both of
you
our
get
channels,
somebody.
please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Also, testimonials and referrals.
Put them on your website.
Put them on your
Yes.
website. Do a little image thing on your social media. Take pictures like with your clients and say like, give them the feedback and say, hey, she's amazing, blah 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 blah. So like if your business is on, say, on Google or your website, in the comments too, have your
Hmm.
students write, like, they can refer you. They can comment about how you're such a great educator
Hmm.
in just comments. And trust me, word of mouth, it spreads fast.
Yeah. Reviews are important.
They really,
Absolutely
really
important.
are.
Like if you're a writer, I know that on Amazon, there's a certain number of positive reviews with comments, commented positive reviews, and then they boost your book or something a little bit at that level. Even if you're at a super low, like self-published level, it doesn't matter. It'll boost it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there are tricks to being a number one seller on on Amazon. My
Oh,
wife is, even
then
though
I need to pick
it
your
was like
brain,
that.
and I need to pick your wife's
Yeah.
brain.
She learned, somebody helped her through it. There was, you had to do it at the right time on the right day, and also just try to get a number of people, like, please buy my book. It's 99 cents. Just beg people right on this and tell them only do it on this day. Don't pre-order. Do it then. Pre-orders don't count. Like there's
I'm gonna message
things.
you guys because I finished my books, the ones I was telling you about.
Mm, mm.
So, um, it
Yeah, there's
there were
tricks, and
there
then
was
that way
delays,
you're able to
but
put that on your site that, hey, I'm a Amazon like number one. You can't say like New York Times, of course, and you can't say like top of Amazon's list, but there's a certain way you write it that
mhm,
says you're a bestseller.
yeah, a bestseller on Amazon
Yeah,
author.
on that.
So I'll definitely have to
You
pick
have to
your.
have the niche. Oh, you have to find the right niches. You get to choose like three categories or something, and you have
Hmm.
to make sure at least one of those categories. Try to get it in all. Make sure all three of those categories. Like for Rosita, if it's a language book, don't just have it be under languages. Be like languages, Japanese, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, no, always.
Very very niche thing. So that way you're number one in that. Nobody has to know what you're number one in. I'm
Hmm.
number one in this long genre that nobody's heard of. So,
Yeah.
all important. And I have to go to
Okay,
get to
yeah,
a
you
lesson.
go. Thank you guys so much for. Hola, tita. All right, guys. So we will see you next Thursday at 9:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m. Pacific. No, Eastern time zones. And leave your comments. What do you guys want to teach?